Welcome to today's annual meeting of Southeastern membership. It's the 59th annual. Oddly, begin today's program. I am delighted to introduce Katie Kodat, Marist, Provost, and Professor Page. Thank you, Bambi. I love how I have one of these double barrel titles, and that professor of English was the one that took priority. I really appreciate that because, as you might imagine, as a writer and English professor, libraries have been a really critically important part of my life. So it's an honor and pleasure for me to be able to welcome you to our campus. I understand this is the first time you've had your meeting here at Marist. I hope this is, we're very, very proud with this space, but there are other beautiful places on our campus. So I hope we also have great weather. You get a chance to sort of walk around a little bit, get to know our campus a little bit more. Your organization, one of the things I was just speaking with folks a little bit earlier, and I was looking online, a special aspect of this organization is its inclusiveness in a reality, right? So it's every kind of library, right? Academic libraries, public library, archives, hospitals. It's, the whole sort of sense of what it is that's needed, the infrastructure that's needed for true intellectual and academic freedom and exploration and creative freedom and exploration. The work that you're doing then, and I don't think you need me to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway, is critically important, right? For the health of the Republic, for our children, for our students, for adults, for anybody who cares about growth and expansion and fulfilling the human potential. So I want to thank you for doing that work, and let you know that even though many times it feels as if there's a quietness about it, the famous celebrated quietness of the library or the quietness of the archive, and maybe the quietness of the public in terms of recognizing that work, know that it matters and it is recognized and it's very much appreciated. So welcome once again. Enjoy the day. And you've got fantastic weather. So I do hope you get out and walk around. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Southeastern Board of Trustees, thank you for joining us today for our annual membership meeting. We are pleased to have so many of you here today, and I am very happy to welcome you, as Katie said, for the very first time to Marist. Welcome to the campus and to the historic Cornell Boathouse. And when we say Cornell, we mean Cornell University. You'll hear a little bit more about the history of this building and the area in which we stand a little bit later. Today's event has three parts. The first part is our annual business meeting, during which we will approve last year's minutes, announce new trustees and officers, hear Southeastern's annual report from our executive director, Tessa, and celebrate this year's recipient of the Twila Snead Award. During the second portion of our program, we will hear from Anna Stern from the Moth, and we will hear her keynote address, Storytelling for Effective, Emotive, and Connected Communication. And last, but certainly not least, Ian Sandry from Marist Archives and Special Collections will present a history of the Cornell Boathouse and the event that necessitated its construction, the Poughkeepsie Regatta, from 1891 to 1950. On your table and presented on the screen is today's agenda. The agenda includes a QR code that links to a website with documents and information about today's meeting. Please take a moment to navigate to that webpage. We will now approve the minutes from the June 6th, 2025 annual meeting held last year at the FDR Museum Library. Please review the minutes posted on the Southeastern webpage. Any comments or revisions to the minutes? But any of us remember them clearly from that in there. Hearing none, they are approved. And now I would like to introduce the Executive Director of Southeastern, Tessa Killian.
It is going to be I love the book coming from Provost Kodat. I'm sure she has a busy day. Um, so thank you, Becky, for making this happen for us to be in this space today. I watched people come up the stairs and see this room before, and I was sitting at the front and then standing at the back. And everybody had to kind of take a moment to take it in where we all are. This is really cool to be there. And we were thinking back to those of us who have been around in Southeastern region since the 90s and maybe earlier. And I don't think we have ever had an ACO meeting here. I think this is correct that we've never met at Marist before, at least not in this recent memory. So we're so pleased to be here. And it's really your perfect venue for our group. Couldn't ask for anything nicer today. So thanks everyone for attending on this beautiful June day. We have a lovely day ahead of us. We have 70 people participating. For those of you in the room, I asked everybody has a phone because I already had you take your phone out and check the minutes. But if you could put it on some kind of mode that is quiet, I would appreciate it. I have mine airplane mode because I know that my mom's going to text me and ask me how my annual meeting presentation. So mine's in airplane mode. Well set there. We have an amazing program for you today, and I'm super excited for all of it. We're going to celebrate some trustees. We're going to celebrate and truly amazing the local project. We're going to learn about storytelling from Anna Stern from the Moth, and then Anne Sandry is going to explain why you're at Marist University and in Cornell Boathouse, and all the information about the Poughkeepsie Regatta. And so now I'm going to get on with it and get into a brief Southeastern update. I just wish I looked that way. Okay. First, I'd like to ground ourselves in why we're here. Over the past year, through our strategic planning process, we reaffirmed our mission and vision. And importantly, we have formed a set of values, which we didn't have before. And I'm very excited for that. But at its core, our work is simple. We connect you, our members, with the resources, tools, and support to help you serve more communities. Our goal is to do this in a way that is inclusive, equitable, and collaborative. Our values are intellectual freedom, collaboration, sustainability. They all guide our work and decision-making every day. And I'm pleased to see them formally adopted and added to our strategic plan. So this mission really comes to light for us to the strength of our network, and in particular, the diversity of our membership. As one member put it, the exposure of other types of libraries is one of the most beneficial aspects of Southeastern. And I really appreciate that Provost Kodat mentioned that this morning when she looked at the website and looked at our membership. She really picked up on that. I thought that is really cool. This diversity lets us cross boundaries, both geographical and by library type. And currently we have 105 members across non-accounts. This year we welcomed 3 new members, the Irvington Historical Society, the Northeast Millerton Public Library, and most recently the Blodgett Library. So I think this diversity is important because it gives you exposure to the library really gets down about their libraries. And through collaboration, we extend our collective impact far beyond what one organization could do alone. So as you can see on the slide, our growth is with public libraries and cultural heritage organizations who mostly come to us for our digitization service. So you can see that bubble keeps getting bigger, which is those 2 bubbles. As we think about our network and mission, it's also important to understand how the library workforce is changing. We have been tracking this over the last few years in our annual survey and seeing the shift within the network. As you can see, the percentage of people with 30 plus years in the profession and of experience in libraries is decreasing, while the people in the workforce with less than 10 years is increasing. So we continue to see this shift as people are, retiring after working in libraries for more than 30 years. And there's more and more people in the workforce. And this data helps us to understand emerging needs and insights as we consider leadership development, workforce sustainability, and how we will support the next generation of library workers. So taking a quick look back to 2025, this was a big year of strategic planning for the council. And I encourage you to review this document, which is posted on our website and linked from today's program agenda. It provides a comprehensive overview of our services, our audited financial documents, and it's an excellent source of information about the council, about all of our committees, all the people engaged, and the full list of all of our members. The work over this last year directly shaped where we're headed next. Planning started over a year ago with an extensive information gathering process, including a survey and focus groups. I think the focus groups were held last summer, so it's been a while. But in March, the board approved the new strategic plan, which will take effect in July. As we wrote the plan, we considered the programs and services members told us that they value, and this is reflected in the plan, which includes the following continuation of the following services. So we have emergency meeting catalog and interlibrary loan system that provide free access to shared catalogs and interlibrary loan system, infrastructure and support for digitization and digital preservation, and high impact training and professional development that fosters new library skills and professional knowledge, and collaborative services across library systems that extends resources and develops initiatives that can be shared by all library workers. At the same time, working ahead, and use your feedback to develop new priorities that include identifying ways to cultivate connections and community among all of you, support for the next generation of library workers, which is important, and growing the digital navigator system to be long-term and stable. Throughout this process, we're gonna lost my train of thought. We're gonna form 2 new committees on interlibrary loan and advocacy. And I think that is important to take interlibrary loan, figure out what's next, and advocacy, because you all told us that's important to me to find new ways of doing it and collaborating with other library systems in ILA. And we're going to expand outreach and marketing efforts to increase uses of our services. You all told us that you think our services are valuable, but we need to do more. We have a changing workforce. Every time I turn around, there's a new library director, a public library. There's a lot of shifting people. And so we need to keep up with it. We think we just sent out a newsletter with all of our information to do it again and again and again, get these services in front of you so that they're used. The new strategic plan outlines ways to strengthen the work we're already doing and to prepare us for what's next. So along with this long-term planning, we already started with some of this work and some of the new goals by hosting the Shadow Program, which matched library workers with one another for peer-to-peer visits. The inspiration for this program came from the EDI community and was managed by Beth No, our Streett intern and MLIS student at Queens College, who was here today. There she is. Program gave people an opportunity to step into another library and experience other perspectives. Throughout the spring, there were 19 visits with 45 participants among 39 different organizations. That's pretty impressive. You all got out there and drove around and visited one another after Beth did some amazing organizations to make all that happen. Lots of logistics. The result was new relationships and insights into how libraries work and serve their communities. And so on the screen, there's pictures from Beth's visits. I think you took some of the pictures. You're in one of them. But Vassar College, Columbia Green Community College, and the Nyack Public Library. Another essential part of our work is to support and provide services across all library types, but particularly the medical and special libraries in our region. We are their library system. And these organizations and the libraries working in them are essential to provide specialized expertise to their communities. Southeastern supports medical libraries for providing a turnkey electronic library. Anybody who does this knows how much work this is. We provide everything they need for an electronic library. The resources, and then a full service website that includes authentication for offsite use and security tools. We also provide a service called Vital, which is staffing to libraries in need of a library professional. These are hospitals that don't have a library professional. We provide that person, which is Sarah, who manages their library and provides reference and interlibrary loan services. And for social libraries, we host a catalog, which we do in-house using COA, the integrated online library system, that they can share their holdings with members and researchers. These are non-circulating collections, but it gives them exposure to what they have. It's FDR Museum Library and Perry Institute in particular. Every mission to provide professional development and peer learning cuts across all library types. I think it's important for these smaller libraries, particularly the special libraries and the hospitals, to have this type of professional development because they're not going to get it elsewhere. We are their network. We are the place they're going to go for this peer learning. And I think our SIGs remain a place for peer learning, especially in areas such as archives, digital preservation, leadership, resource sharing, and reference. I know the staff are trying to get out more, doing less of this on Zoom, more of it in person so that you can engage with one another. If you don't have money and opportunities for travel beyond the region, this can be a space for that for you to work with one another. And we've been hosted in several targeted webinars this year, with the most important ones and the relevant ones I think right now are around like head compliance, and we've been doing a lot related to AI. So we continue to work and partner with our library systems and regional conferences. We had the Banned Book Symposium this spring, and we had the Fall Into Books conference scheduled in the fall. This is an opportunity for all of it, what, eight library systems in this region. We all collaborate together on these conferences, and it's just a great opportunity to serve everyone. And then our ever popular CineCon was this spring. It was the 11th annual CineCon. We had the bookmobile, the rover there from the Killian Public Library. It's been a highlight of my career, I have to say, sitting there. And I'm so excited that we can continue providing that conference for you all. And of course, a core collaborative service that we've been providing for 59 years is resource sharing. One of our R's of the 3Rs Council is resource sharing. And the three ways that we serve members now are RECEAL, Southeastern Access to Libraries, which is our regional interlibrary loan virtually unique catalog. And we've made many software developments over the past year to include features that you asked for and to make the system WCAG compliant. I've highlighted a couple of the changes on the slides, and you can see what they did for everyone, things that people asked for. Libraries have loaned almost 15,000 items to RECEAL, which I think is pretty amazing, at a 75% fill rate. I also think it's pretty amazing. And that is thanks to those of you who lent to your neighbors. Our net lenders are still Vassar and Zuni Newhalls. So thank you both for all of your support and sharing with public libraries in that way. Additionally, we process health-related ILLs for you using Dockline. And for our governing members with limited or no access these days to OCLC, we can facilitate obtaining materials free from this global network. That is something that LC is increasingly doing for our academics. We have ILL procedures that comply with regional code and national standards, all of which are posted to a very popular lit guide that contains everything you want to know about ILL. LC's lit guide is shared well beyond region and has excellent usage. One place where we really shine and see our collaboration in action is through our shared digital platforms. As you know, a significant part of our work involves providing digital services to 82 members now through the digital services. They use at least one of them. New York Heritage, the Newspaper Portal, Empire ADC, Pine Aids, the Digital Dark Archive, and the online exhibit platforms in Alaska. We follow library and archive standards and use the most relevant, most affordable digital platforms developed in-house and in partnership with open source and vendor partners. Our digitization service is more inclusive and very staff intensive. We're there for members throughout their projects. We provide consultations, SACPAP, scanners, metadata assistance. We have a digital lab and ongoing guidance of support throughout a project's lifespan. And as you can see, I don't know about the bots, but I think that's a pretty good number.
It's better. It's pretty good. It's just definitely a few bots in there, but we've gotten better.
Okay. That's an impressive amount of page views. And he's working really hard to keep the bots out of our stuff. So that is the amount of usage that the digital collections have had. And I'm really pleased with that, and pleased for you all that your content's getting used. New this year are three the Jen that I really wanted to feature, which are the Revolutionary War pension applications. They're kind of sad, but they're very interesting. They were posted in our June newsletter. Hudson, A History of Whaling and Commerce, which is a beautiful online exhibit from the Hudson Library. It is an online exhibit that Kelsey helped kind of reproduce online from a physical exhibit that they had in the celebration of whaling in Hudson. Absolutely wonderful. And the Catskill Village Cemetery Tours. Their videos hosted by the Greene County Library Association. They are really fun. I took a look at them. They document the fun. It's a cemetery tour. They admit the people and life and death from that area in Hattsville, and they're very interesting. So these historic resources really are what make your library special. And as you can see, the usage stats are very popular with the public and researchers. So in addition to preserving and sharing history, we're also directly supporting people with their day-to-day technology needs through the Digital Navigator service. Last year with the Connect All grant, we analyzed data gathered by the digital navigators and created a report with the data and recommendations. So we're proud to share that since 2022, 170 digital navigators from over 7 institutions have served over 1,000 clients through lengthy interactions, often multiple times, last between 45 and 60 minutes. So these are not quick. They're detailed sessions that help people navigate technology in real, practical ways. And this program will continue to grow and meet critical community needs related to digital equity. The research and analysis report is posted on our website, and it's available through the resources through the link from the QR code. And it's a very impressive document and webpage that includes recommendations for moving forward with the Digital Navigator service, and it helped us secure another grant from Connect All. They read the report, they referenced the report in our application. So we have another grant from that in partnership with the Westchester Library System. They're taking the lead, they're big, they can handle the capacity of this grant, and they're very generous with their time to do this in partnership with us and the public library systems. So the grant will continue paying for and supporting this valuable service moving forward. Sustainability. As we expand into other services, we're also thinking carefully about how we sustain her long term. And as I already mentioned, sustainability is now one of our values. And sustainability is a long-term commitment. So we're working on it in 3 levels, beginning with funding, where our goal is to provide high-quality services within a challenging fiscal environment. So as we all know, about state budget, state funding for library aid is not keeping pace with our needs, did not this year. And we're going to do all we can to grow and improve our important services without getting any more money from their state, which they are still our primary source of funding, even as this share of that revenue continues to decline. So about 63% this year, in this year's budget, 63% of our revenue comes from state aid. It used to be much higher. So the remaining revenue comes from rent that we had since we owned the building. We had a tenant, we had investments, we have grants, and we have greater reliance on you, our members, this year through higher dues and fees. So thank you for supporting Southeastern in that way. Secondly, with the mortgage payoff, which is another good investment, we're now focused on making energy saving improvements to our building and sustainability. A lot of people think of sustainability as the third point here. Through our pollinator initiative, we're transforming the property by planting hundreds and hundreds of native plants on the land we own in Highlands. The new landscaping supports pollinator life cycles and the ecosystems. Every day you see evidence of it. We have seen new birds. We have seen a lot of bees, and it's amazing the transformations that we've seen on the property in the last year. So all of these programs and services and everything is made possible because of your ongoing involvement. A strong theme throughout the strategic planning feedback that we received was how much you value peer-to-peer engagement and networking, as well as the support you received from the council. Those were the 2 biggest themes that we saw. So as we had looked to our new year and a new 5-year plan service, we invite your continued participation. I encourage you to ask questions, share ideas, get involved, provide feedback, call us. We have phones, you can call us on them. Yeah, I miss my phone. Give us a call, give us a chat, engage with us in all these ways, and continue to engage with each other, the committees and the SIGs. We have a great HRVH space on Facebook. So those posts, a lot of genealogists and history people are on Facebook and they love it. And Moshe posts every Thursday. Go ahead and share those. And I noticed that if we feature a particular library, they see it, they like it, and they share it. So that's good engagement that way. And please take our member survey. This feedback is crucial not only for our report to New York State, but for us to get information from you about how we're doing. And Sarah and I are continuing to track the demographic data about our membership and the library workforce. So we need that information as well from you. So there's many reasons to fill out our survey. It's short. It should just take a few minutes. It'll be open through June. So before I close, I'm going to take a moment to recognize all the people who make all of this possible. We have many advisory committees, and I know a lot of people they hear from them, but they are volunteers who collaborate with the staff and trustees to inform services in 5 key areas: continuing education, equity, diversity, inclusion, digitization, hospitals, and resource sharing. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to all of the trustees, current and emeritus. I know we have some emeritus trustees here today, who helped lead Southeastern by dedicating their time and expertise, the importance governance issues that help move us forward. So would everyone who is a chair or a member of an advisory committee or trustee just wave, do something to give back an ice? Thank you. Last but not least, we had a tremendous team that goes above and beyond every day to make all of this possible and to help make this organization rise. Their work powers everything we do. Let's recognize the incredible Southeastern staff. Jen? Staff? Carolyn? Liz? Sarah? And Bach. Our you guys are the best. So to be reviewed, our most guidance services and how we're looking ahead with our new strategic plan, which will be implemented soon. We are so grateful for your partnerships, and I just want to extend a huge thank you to everyone's here, and I look forward to the work ahead. So thank you for being part of this network. Thank you. With that, I'd like to introduce Ann Deutsch, who is a member of the Trustee and Officer Nominating Committee, and she's going to give that report now. No. And it's so good, awesome. I've gotten so much in the
Good morning. Sorry, a little instruction session there. I would like to thank the governing members who participated in the online election. On behalf of the trustees and officer nominating committee, I am pleased to report that 5 people have been elected to Southeastern Board of Trustees for the term to July 2026 to June 2031. That's a big group. A lot of return now. So our newly elected trustees, is I'm going to ask that as I say name, if you could either raise your hand, stand up, whatever you're comfortable with. Representing public library systems, we have Laura Chrissy, Lila, is the library sustainability coordinator of Mid-Hudson Library System. Representing medical libraries, Catherine Doxson. And Catherine is the medical librarian at Good Samaritan Hospital Medical Staff Library. Representing community at large, we have Robert Quinn. And retired school counselor. Also representing community at large, we have Stop Merritt. And Scott is a retired art conservator and museum administrator. And continuing for a second term, we have representing special libraries, Kirsten Carter, who is not with us today, but we're very glad to have her back for a second team. So congratulations to all of our newly elected trustees who start their terms on July 1st. Rare and hood. Okay, now I'd like to move on to announce the slate of officers for the 2026-2027 Board of Trustees. And again, I'll ask you to stand and we'll wait to be recognized when your name is called. Grace Riaria was our president. Andy Ashton is our vice president. Gertrude Carter, secretary again, and the head. Christy Mee, our treasurer. And Becky Albitz, who is our assistant secretary treasurer. So thank you, and Miss Years. Do you know what? Okay. So thank you for joining me and thanking our colleagues who volunteered their time and expertise to serve as officers and as trustees. Thank you all. And everyone have back to Becky.
Thank you, man. So we would like to now acknowledge the trustees whose terms are ending and are leaving the board. That's something. Hey, there's a big turnover here for us. This year, we honor 4 trustees who are completing their service: Alan Rubin, Floyd Lattin, Mary Jo Russell, and Laurie Shedrick. So we extend our sincerest gratitude for them for their dedication and service to Southeastern. Alan is on Zoom. I hope.
There you go. We got people, so yeah.
Person, so I know she's there on Zoom. Alan served on the board for 10 years. She was the treasurer for 5, and her active involvement in planning for the council extends to helping with strategic planning, the 50th anniversary celebration, our EDI planning, and our finances. Ellen is well known for her dedication to intellectual freedom, which has been involved in libraries for a really long time. Intellectual freedom, I know, was her passion. And she's continued this work through her work with the Banned Book Symposium. Thank you, Ellen, so much for everything that you do for libraries and for Southeastern. Lloyd, we're going to make you come up to the podium now. Yeah. Don't say anything. We just want to recognize you.
No, I can say something.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to be recognized. You gotta constantly go. I know you're taking my job.
Lloyd has served on the board for 11 years. I think that this time, but really just snuck in a year. Representing the community at large. During that time, he served on the executive committee and as our assistant secretary treasurer. Lloyd provided years of guidance on Southeastern finances and procedures, as well as helping plan building renovations back in 2019. So thank you, Floyd, for all of your time and dedication to Southeastern. Floyd's service, we made up a picture. Mary Jo, you're next. Mary Jo Russell from New Vance, Downward Law. Official weapon and formerly want to stand next to Becky. Mary Jo served on the board for 9 years representing medical libraries. This is Mary Jo's second round on the board. She previously served 10 years in the early 2000s. So that's, add that up. That's a lot of time. In this term, she served as chair of the planning committee for 5 years and served as the HLSP committee. Always, the whole time. She had the HLSP liaison. Mary Jo was integral in starting the VITAL program for our hospital library services a few years ago. And I want to thank you, Mary Jo, for your service, for always being present. I said to myself, it was a good work when I'm to be in tears. Okay. So yeah, always present and just being one of our biggest champions. And for being advocate for medical libraries in particular and for
Keep up to serve 5 years to get me pictures, Suzanne. Okay, Laurie, last but not least, it's Laurie and served on the board for 10 years, including 7 years on the planning committee and the last 2 years as chair. Laurie had led this last strategic planning work, which was a real joy to work with her on it, and I think we did an excellent job, Laurie. Thank you. Her contributions include being the liaison to DNR Library Loan Committee, where she helped with the most recent code updates. So thank you, Laurie, for your service, your incredible technology skills and knowledge, and your support for Southeastern. Yeah. Becky is ending her second term as board president. You have such a now I need to do my job. Okay. So on behalf of Southeastern and the Board of Trustees, we extend our deepest gratitude for you for your leadership, your time, all your time, and the service that you've dedicated to this organization. Your prior experience with boards, your leadership style, your meeting management skills are all admirable and very much appreciated. And I've really enjoyed working with you in the past 2 years. So thank you, Becky. That we're ready to move on to our award ceremony. But I'd like to introduce Laurie.
My pleasure to present the Twila Snead Commitment to Excellence. The award is named in memory of Twila Snead, who served as the medical library manager at St. Louis Cornell Hospital in Newburgh, New York, for 20 years. Twila's demonstrated professional commitment, hard work, and dedication to continuous improvement established the framework that inspired this award for excellence in library. This annual award, now in its 12th year, honors outstanding individuals, organizations, and programs. This year's award selection committee unanimously agreed that the recipient met the award criteria for leadership in creating a new or enhanced service model that other libraries or cultural organizations could emulate, creation of an innovative program or collection that enhances the lives of the organization's constituents, the development of a program that touches the lives of individuals who are otherwise underserved by their communities, provision of a service to the community that is not available from any other library, archive, cultural heritage organization, or library system, or that is outside the organization's primary mission or the individual's job description and that benefits the community in which the organization resides. I'm pleased to announce that the recipient of the Twila Snead Commitment to Excellence Award is the Poughkeepsie Public Library District for the Poughkeepsie Journal Photo Art. Poughkeepsie Journal Photo Archive is a remarkable collection of photographs created and collected by the Journal for roughly 70 years. The collection includes images from the 1930s through the end of the 20th century, capturing the people, events, and everyday life of Poughkeepsie generation. Photo Archive is not the only example of the library district's leadership in local history preservation. The local history and genealogy rooms at the Abrams Library hold extensive archival and historical collections relating to the people and past of the Poughkeepsie area. The librarians responsible for those resources, including current have also created a digital collection called Man Market, featuring images, postcards, school yearbooks, directories, and more. I recommend poking around and made a market so much fun. I had no idea there was a library branch in Red Oaks Mills. Who would have known? There's also regularly updated local history blog, and current historian and librarian Shannon Butler leads public walk-on tours of landmarks such as Springside, Matthew Vassar's estate, Poughkeepsie Rural Cemetery, a fun, also another she does it fun.
Yes.
And the Rubin Streett area, the city's oldest area. Through all of this work, the Poughkeepsie Public Library District has demonstrated a sustained commitment to making our shared towns accessible to the public in a variety of engaging ways. What makes the photo archive especially noteworthy is its enormous scale and its complexity. Newspaper photo archives, often referred to as photo morgues, are notoriously difficult to preserve. They're large, materials require careful handling and storage. They're often poorly organized, not organized by librarians. See? And they demand significant investment of time, expertise, and resources. Most institutions simply cannot take on projects of this magnitude. The Poughkeepsie Public Library District chose to do it anyway. The determination, vision, and the deep sense of responsibility to the community, the library accepted the challenge, preserving a collection that might otherwise have been lost. Although processing and conservation work is still underway, staff members are already providing access and reference assistance whenever possible, ensuring that this invaluable resource can serve researchers, students, historians, and community members. Because of this effort, future generations will have access to an unparalleled record of Poughkeepsie's history, one that preserves not only major events and well-known figures, but also the lives, experiences, and stories of the people who shaped this community. Please join me in congratulating Poughkeepsie Public Library District for its outstanding leadership, stewardship, and dedication to preserving our local. Yeah.
It's a
Is this going in the photo archive?
It's going in social media. Also count a certificate of recognition for the Poughkeepsie Public Library District from Senator Rob G. Robinson. I knew that. And we have another citation from Jonathan G. Jacobson, member of the Assembly of the 104th District. Where are you?
Amen.
You do photos of.
I'd like to thank Southeastern for this recognition for the library district. Not many of you may know that I started my career at Southeastern as a medical librarian as part of the Hospital Library Services Program, and Pat Carroll was on the board of trustees that appointed me. I then became the assistant director and left to pursue a consultant career while out in Poughkeepsie. But early on in my years in Poughkeepsie, I worked with Joyce E. and Eileen Hayden, who were big in the Dutchess County Historical Society. One of the concerns that Joyce had at the time was the generational transfer of property in the city of Poughkeepsie, out of which came a plethora of stuff from attics that was unfortunately going to probably wind up in people's dumpsters if there wasn't some kind of way to intervene in that happening. Little did I know that the library was going to inherit a very, very large community resource, sort of along those lines. This all came about because Meg Downey, who had been the editor of the Poughkeepsie Journal, called me one day and said, they're cleaning out the Poughkeepsie Journal building, and we're really concerned about the photo archive. And she asked me if I had any interest in talking with Gannett about either owning it or somehow managing it for public access and to preserve this really important mid-century photo history of the Poughkeepsie area. And I said, sure, we'll talk about it. And then that led to me telling Kira that she had a new job, which was to sort of how to figure out to get the public to use that resource. So we continue to have conversations with the Gannett Corporation because we would like to actually own the archive so that it isn't subject to whatever whims might fall upon whoever buys Gannett or whoever buys the people who bought Gannett. And we're sort of knocking on a door that's not being answered yet, but it's probably going to happen through attrition, and we'll ultimately acquire it, or we'll seal it. I don't know, but it's an important resource that we need to maintain. And I really think that an award like this is important for my organization to understand the value that it's perceived to have in the greater community about the good work that my staff does. I mean, I'm the one that answers the phones and say, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And then I hang up and go, now, who's going to do that? And I really am blessed to have a great staff who are willing to take on these kinds of projects. We're about to inherit the music library of the Hudson Valley Philharmonic because it too went the way of the dodo. And there was concern that that resource would become unavailable to people. And it's amazing how these resources do get used quietly, not only throughout the greater Poughkeepsie area, but nationally. And I just appreciate that there's the recognition of the good work the staff does, and that I have a community that supports us with a great budget that allows us to do projects like this. And they also see the value of it. So on behalf of the entire organization, I thank you very much for this recognition.
That huge collection I saw. You are very great. Congratulations. So now I get to announce that we will be taking a break. We will reconvene at 10:45. So you have almost half an hour to relax. Please get some more shots, coffee, enjoy, step outside, and we will be back at 10:45.